Goblin Curse in a nutshell. Goblin Curse will be the next epic spell coming to Clash Royale, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's gonna be more broken than Dagger Duchess, so I do expect some nerfs. The way you unlock it is a secret for now, so subscribe to see the rest of the sneak peeks. For 2 elixir, you get a weaker poison that does more damage than the Barbarian Barrel, but less damage than Log and Arrows. The damage is just enough to leave Princess surviving, so that means anything with less HP than Princess just dies to it. By looking at the stats, you can see a funny damage amplification and a goblin level, which I'll get into in a few minutes. But having a radius of 4 means the spell will be as big as arrows. Anything that dies while inside the spell will turn into a dagger goblin. Yes, there is no limit to this. This excludes clones, as it will spawn cloned goblins instead of normal goblins, and same goes for Skeleton King ability. This means it's insanely dangerous to play bats in the back, as people might Goblin Curse them on your tower. I reckon it will be very funny to use against Graveyard, because besides them getting nearly no damage, it also acts as a goblin spawner for you. You know, it even works with Mother Witch, as it will give you both a piggy and a goblin as a 2-in-1 deal. Show this clip to a Graveyard player and there is a good chance they will get a heart attack, so be ready to call 911. Disclaimer: I'm not legally responsible for any medical conditions caused to Graveyard players from this clip. Since the damage isn't instant, using it against something like a Goblin Barrel doesn't help, as it will heavily damage your tower. I can see it being used with the Void, as if they tried to block your Void, you will just be getting a bunch of free goblins. Oh, by the way, you can transform goblins spawned from an enemy spell, so by playing these mini P.E.K.K.A.s same second and keeping the spell active for both of them, it will keep generating goblins on and on and on and on until the heat death of the universe, which is quite funny. Now let's get into what makes it broken, and it's the damage amplification. The way this mechanic works is it inflicts a debuff, making enemy troops receive more damage from all sources. It reminds me of a silly Nope, I am not doing this. See, when I said all sources, I meant all of them, including spells and buildings. So basically, say they have a prince. Now, if I rocket, then Goblin Curse on him, and wait for the full 6 seconds, he will survive, as the damage of those 2 spells is not enough to take him out. But if I Goblin Curse first, then rocket, he will die immediately, because the Goblin spell buffed the rocket's damage. I'm just crying, bro, like what is this interaction? It doesn't work as good with poison, since it lasts 8 seconds and the Goblin Curse lasts for 6 seconds, so you aren't going to be able to amplify all of the poison damage. But with the Void, besides making blocking things impossible with it, it allows you to take out more things like a bowler, for example, which is ridiculous. And looking at buildings, you can clearly see that the Inferno Tower burns through the golem much quicker when it's under the spell versus when it's without the spell. Luckily, the damage amplification nerf doesn't apply to buildings, as you can see here. Rocketing first, then going Goblin Curse on the tower has the same effect as going Goblin Curse first and using the rocket while the spell is active, which in return it also doesn't apply to defensive buildings, as the fireball would have taken out the Tesla entirely if the damage amplification was active. What I find weird is a Goblin Curse doesn't amplify a second Goblin Curse. Like, take this Flying Machine for example, with me playing 2 Goblin spells on it at the same time, it survives with very low HP. If I play both Goblin Curse spells apart from each other, then it generates the exact same results, which to me, I think one of them should be getting amplified because, well, you know, logic. However, what I'm thankful for is the fact that having 2 Goblin Curses and damaging something would nearly give the exact same results as having 1 Goblin Curse while damaging it, since a 100% damage amplification would be too much. To conclude this, I think this spell works best with high damaging troops like Sparky, as a hit from it while the spell is active is significantly more impactful. Like, I would have never expected to see a P.E.K.K.A. one-shotting elite barbarians, but here we are. God, this spell literally has the potential to be the funniest thing ever happened to Clash Royale and ruin the entire game, my dudes.